Your personality creates your personal reality. It's that simple. Allow your consciousness to merge with a greater consciousness. There are no limitations on who you are or what you can do. The only person holding you back is yourself. The seemingly impossible can become possible. Your thoughts are incredibly powerful. Choose yours wisely. The moment we accept responsibility for everything in our lives, we can begin to change any aspect of our world. Whatever we resist will persist. Whatever we accept will disappear. Where we put our awareness, and for how long, maps our destiny. Most of us are only going in circles. We all have the power within each one of us to change everything that is occurring in our lives. The key to happiness is to know you have a soul, and that it comes from a place of love. Change is a powerful word, and it is completely feasible if you choose it. The brain thinks, but the heart knows. If you focus on the known, you get the known. If you focus on the unknown, you create a possibility. Surrender deeper into intelligent love. Trust in the unknown. Continuously surrender some aspect of the limited self to join the greater self. Lose yourself in nothing to become everything. Relax into an infinite, deep sea of coherent energy. Without learning and experiencing, we never upgrade our neural architecture. We are confined in our lives only by the limits of our own beliefs. Your familiar memories related to your known world remind you to reproduce the same experiences. If we had a more intimate relationship with our thoughts, we would see that they are not real. If you're going to disconnect from the outer world, you have to learn how to change your brain waves. What makes us happy is a direct result of what we focus on. We can't create a new future while we're living in our past. It is simply impossible. Our thoughts are what fuel everything that is happening in our lives. Just as thoughts are the language of the brain, so feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel create a state of being. The body wants to experience physical reality with its senses in order to embrace an emotion, but your goal is to create a reality from a world beyond your senses. That's defined not by your body as the mind, but by you as the mind. There is no way to happiness, because it is based upon our understanding of what happiness is. Nobody changes until they change their energy. If you change your energy, you change your life. All my needs are always met. My body becomes younger every day. The divine appears in my life every day. My life partner is my equal and teaches me by example. Synchronicities happen to me all of the time. I feel more whole every day. In order to change your life, you have to literally become someone else. Right on the other side of your fear is courage. Right on the other side of your pain is freedom. It's the same energy. The bottom line is that we will be happy with what we have. That's all. Instead of avoiding the pain of getting and giving love, one learns to create it in a loving way. It's ironic that we keep all of our attention on the 0.00001% of reality that is physical. We are missing something. We don't perceive things the way they are. We perceive things the way we are. The more relaxed I am, the greater becomes my ability to find answers and solutions. The quantum field responds not to what we want. It responds to who we are being. When people get so connected to their future, they stop telling the story of their past. I believe there is an infinite intelligence guiding all of us to help us evolve. Do not waste time trying to control other people's lives for you. There is only one life on this planet, and I want to be in it. Revisit the unknown every single day until it becomes a known. Spend time contemplating who you want to be. The mere process of contemplating who you want to be begins to change your brain. There is no such thing as true or false. There is only what you think about something. The secret to living a happy, fulfilled life is to know that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. Thinking creates feeling, and then feeling creates thinking in a continuous cycle. The process of change requires unlearning. It requires breaking the habit of the old self and reinventing a new self. There's nothing wrong with the analytical mind, of course. It has served us well for our entire waking, conscious lives. As a consciousness, moment by moment, become aware, pay attention to experience. Be present with, and feel more, and more of this, unified field, all around you, without returning your awareness back to three-dimensional reality. Neurons that fire together, wire together. In short, the more you learn about the what and the why, the easier and more effective the how becomes. And any time a stimulus from your external environment is presented to you, like an opportunity to teach, you've conditioned your body, just as Pavlov conditioned his dogs, to subconsciously and automatically respond to the mind of the past experience. My goal is to educate you about the effects of stress on the body, creating a level of self-awareness that causes you to stop and ask yourself, is anyone or anything really worth it? The universe is much more powerful than anything we can imagine, and it will help us if we allow it to. Like feeding a plant or a garden, tend to your future every single day, and the delight that comes with that vision causes the brain to literally change over time. When we are in survival mode, we automatically become materialists, defining reality with our senses, by what we can see, hear, smell, feel, and taste. We also narrow our focus and put all our attention on matter, on our bodies, existing in a particular space and time. And if we have negative thoughts, we make chemicals that make us feel exactly the way we are thinking. Bless your body, bless your life, bless your soul. Bless your future, as well as your past. Bless the challenges in your life, and bless the intelligence within you that is giving you life. Life is about the management of energy. You can't wait for that healing to feel wholeness. You have to feel wholeness for that healing to occur. Wisdom is accumulated knowledge that has been gained through repeated experience. As human beings, we are privileged to have the ability to act voluntarily and consciously. Health and wellness can be as infectious as disease. Becoming the person you aspire to be requires that you stop being that old self. A memory without the emotional charge is called wisdom. Once we achieve consistency, we're on the precipice of a new scientific paradigm, because anything that's repeatable is science. There are three things that make us the supreme beings we were intended to be. We have the ability to choose how we want to think, feel, and act. Knowledge is power. Power is control. Warning. When feelings become the means of thinking, or if we cannot think greater than how we feel, we can never change. To change is to think greater than how we feel. To change is to act greater than the familiar feelings of the memorized self. What we experience as tragedy is only the externalization of our own inner tragedy. If you can't think greater than how you feel, this thinking feeling loop keeps you anchored to your past and creates a constant state of being. This is how the body becomes the mind, or in time, how your thoughts run you, and your feelings own you. As long as you are thinking equal to your environment, you keep creating the same life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions for increasing your level of suggestibility. We usually give thanks for things when they've already happened. So in a sense, we've been hypnotized and conditioned into believing that we need a reason for joy, that we need a reason for gratitude. The privilege of being a human being is that we can make a thought seems more real than anything else. We're addicted to our beliefs. We're addicted to the emotions of our past. To change your life, change your beliefs about the nature of reality. Free will is what makes individual human beings so different from one another. You and I are at our absolute best when we get beyond ourselves. If you aren't living the life you want, it doesn't mean that it isn't waiting for you. It just means you have not found it yet. Visioning transforms your brain from a record of the past to a map of the future. The more we tear ourselves apart, the more we realize that there is no such thing as right and wrong. It's the same with placebos. What we are conditioned to believe will happen when we take a pill, and what we think that everyone around us, including our doctors, expects will happen when we do affects how our bodies respond to the pill. If you can accept the notion that once you change your internal state, you don't need the external world to provide you with a reason to feel joy, gratitude, appreciation, or any other elevated emotion. We are so much more than what we think we are. We have the capacity to do amazingly big things, if we just allow ourselves to get out of the way, and let our true nature shine through. The point is, true happiness has nothing to do with pleasure, because the reliance on feeling good from such intensely stimulating things only moves us further from real joy. The more whole you feel, the less lack you experience, and therefore, the less you want. Conscious thoughts, repeated often enough, become unconscious thinking. To evolve is to overcome the conditions in our life by changing something about ourselves. Most people are not aware of how much control they have in their lives and the things that happen to them. Most people are simply reacting to events without taking any action in their lives. We could say that your energy is equal to everything in your past present reality, and you are recreating the past. As our emotions become more elevated, we will naturally ascend to a higher level of consciousness, closer to Source, and feel more connected to universal intelligence. Since your brain is equal to your environment, then each morning, your senses plug you into the same reality and initiate the same stream of consciousness. If you become less angry, you'll be less frustrated, hateful, judgmental, envious, and so on. While most humans have their attention caught up in the things of the physical world, the secret is about awakening to what is truly important for our spiritual being. Our identity wants to return to the feelings of the familiar, and our body is trying to influence our brain to return to a recognizable state of being, so that the body can recalibrate itself with past feelings. Everything is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. We can all intellectually understand that the brain can manage and regulate many diverse functions throughout the rest of the body. But how responsible are we for the job our brain is doing as CEO of the body? The only tool we have for truly understanding the mind has been to observe the workings of the living human brain. The observer effect in quantum physics states that where you direct your attention is where you place your energy. All healings happen in the heart. To be happy with yourself in the present moment while maintaining a dream of your future is a grand recipe for manifestation. When our behaviors match our intentions, when our actions are equal to our thoughts, when our minds and our bodies are working together, when our words and our deeds are aligned, there is an immense power behind any individual. The negative experience that we are having now is only temporary. It will end one day, and we can choose how it leaves us behind. The hardest part of every war is the last battle. The universe wants to give us everything that we want. But in order for this to happen, we must see ourselves as worthy of receiving it. To be empowered, to be free, to be unlimited, to be creative, to be genius, to be divine. That is who you are. Once you feel this way, memorize this feeling. Remember this feeling. This is who you really are. To fully break the habit of being yourself, say goodbye to cause and effect, and embrace the quantum model of reality. In order to go from the ordinary to the extraordinary, we must change our belief system. I catch myself feeling any of those emotions that are related to stress. I am no longer conditioning my body to stay addicted to the emotions of stress. By the time you reach your mid-30s, your brain has organized itself into a very finite signature of automatic programs. And that fixed pattern is called your identity. My immune system gets stronger each day. I lead with courage in my life. I am an unlimited genius. I am always aware of the power within me and all around me. I believe in myself. I embrace the unknown. Gratitude becomes the emotional signature that it's already happened. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. We can in fact produce, regulate, and sustain elevated feelings and emotions, independent of events in our external world. Genes don't create disease. Instead, the environment signals the gene to create disease. When you use feelings as a barometer for change, you will always talk yourself out of possibility. And as a result, the effects of this new experience override the residue of the neural programming and emotional conditioning from the past experience. It is not the universe that's out to get you. It is you who are out to get yourself. The universe will reflect back to you what it is that you are putting out in the world. When we put greater intention behind what we're doing, we naturally get better results. The more stagnant our thinking becomes, the more we tend to react in a certain way to a certain event. When compassion becomes unconditionally ordinary and familiar for you, you have progressed from knowledge to experience to wisdom. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your body. Reality is not one continuous and consistent stream, but is instead a field of infinite possibilities over which we can exert enormous influence. That is, if we tune into the proper levels of mind. If you're putting the bulk of your energy towards some issue in your external environment, there will be little left for your body's internal environment. When we approach life from the perspective of what is possible, we let go of all that holds us back and replace it with a sense of infinite possibility. If I created the life I have now, including my paralysis, my depression, my weakened immune system, my ulcerations, and even my cancer, maybe I can uncreate everything with the same passion I created it with. We are who we practice to be. So if you practice gratitude, you will be grateful. I have always known that there is more to life than what I see or what I know. Your thoughts have consequences so great that they create your reality. Countless history books could be written through the lens of incoherent emotions. If you were to start investing your attention and energy into the unknown, your body would then be able to follow your mind into the unknown. A new experience in your future. Remember, if you are going to create the unlimited, you have to feel unlimited. If you are going to heal in a magnificent way, you have to feel magnificent. If we're hoping for the best, but expecting the worst to happen, we will never be surprised by anything. In fact, we will be relieved when the bad things happen. We've been hypnotized and conditioned into believing that we need a reason for joy, that we need a reason for gratitude. Thought alone can trigger the human stress response. The brain may think, but when you turn your heart into an instrument of perception, it knows. When we take responsibility for everything in our lives, we become very powerful beings, and begin to manifest whatever it is we want in the world around us. Our bodies do have an innate intelligence that enables them to serve us with a chemical array of natural healing compounds. Before we can heal, we need to know how to feel our pain. We need to go into that state of knowledge where you know you have the power within you to change anything. When you meditate and connect to something greater, you can create and then memorize such coherence between your thoughts and feelings that nothing in your outer reality, no thing, no person, no condition, at any place or time, could move you from that level of energy. Your associative memories exist in the subconscious mind. If your personal reality is creating your personality, you are a victim. But if your personality is creating your personal reality, then you are a creator. The moment you decide to make a different choice, get ready to be uncomfortable. When energy vibrates slower, particles appear in physical reality for longer periods of time, and thus appear as solid matter. You could say they were more in love with their future than they were with their past. We perceive reality based on how our brain is wired. Be greater than the conditions in your environment. Be greater than the emotional habits and addictions of the body. The more whole you feel, the less lack you experience, and therefore, the less you want. Essentially, Descartes started a belief system that imposed a duality between the concepts of mind and matter. For centuries, that division stood as the accepted understanding of the nature of reality. Move from being selfish to selfless. The more you surrender to life and the universe, the more powerful you become. We are not doomed by our genes. We're not hardwired to be a certain way for the rest of our lives. We are marvels of adaptability and change. Allow it to flow in and out of your heart, all the while deepening and relaxing your breath, keeping your attention on your heart. Call up an elevated emotion and sustain this feeling for a period of time, while paying attention to your breathing. When you think from your past memories, you can only create past experiences. Thoughts matter, and they become matter. We can't separate them, like Descartes did. Our thoughts influence physical phenomena. They interact with all the matter in the universe. In truth, our personal reality is just a reflection of our personality. Our task as humans is to transcend the illusion of separateness, because when we do that, we return to the source, back home to divine consciousness. When one holds a dream independent of the environment, that's greatness. If you want a new outcome, you will have to break the habit of being yourself and reinvent a new self. The path to true happiness is not found in outside things, but rather in our inner state of being. Live your desired new future in the precious present. Whatever it is, that is your vision. You're just going to have to be passionate enough to invest your attention and your energy into that future over and over again, until all of a sudden you start seeing feedback in your life. Most people wait for something outside of them to change how they feel inside. When we come together in a group setting, we can create an atmosphere that enhances and accelerates our ability to heal, grow, and evolve. All someone has to do, in order to be hypnotized, or to hypnotize him, or herself, is to move down, from high, or mid-range beta waves, into a more relaxed, alpha or theta state. Thus meditation, and self-hypnosis, are similar. Whenever you say, I am anything, you're commanding your mind, and your body, towards a destiny. The moment we realize that we are connected to everything in the universe, becomes the moment when we have made the greatest advancement on our spiritual path. Never make it be about the end result. Make it be about effort. Meditation takes us from survival to creation, from separation to connection, from imbalance to balance, from emergency mode to growth and repair mode, and from the limiting emotions of fear, anger, and sadness to the expansive emotions of joy, freedom, and love. When you see life as a series of learning experiences, you will be able to take advantage of them to create an amazing life. This power of intention is what we most admire about our heroes. By itself, conscious positive thinking cannot overcome subconscious negative feelings. And as you know, by now, prolonged high beta brain waves cause us to feel pain, anxiety, worry, fear, anger, frustration, judgment, impatience, aggression, and competition. We gain the freedom to live and think and act independent of the restraints or constraints of that feeling. What beliefs and perceptions about you and your life have you been unconsciously agreeing to that you would have to change in order to create this new state of being? To change our brain is to change the future. Attitude had more of an influence on longevity than blood pressure, cholesterol levels, smoking, body weight, or level of exercise. Attitudes strung together become beliefs, and related beliefs strung together become perceptions. Over time, this redundancy creates a view of the world and of yourself that's largely subconscious. Change as a choice instead of a reaction. Think of it this way. The input remains the same, so the output has to remain the same. How then can you ever create anything new? When we stop trying to prove the universe wrong, we will see that the universe has been trying to show us something all along. To believe in yourself, to be healed, to be free, to be moved by the Spirit. The more we use our senses to define reality, the more we experience separation. The only way we can change our lives is to change our energy, to change the electromagnetic field we are constantly broadcasting. Most people wait for crises or trauma before they make up their mind to change. My message is, why wait? You can learn and change in a state of suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration. Beliefs and perceptions are subconscious states of being. They start with thoughts and feelings that you think and feel over and over, until they ultimately become habituated or automatic, at which point they form an attitude. Meditation opens the door between the conscious and subconscious minds. We meditate to enter the operating system of the subconscious, where all of those unwanted habits and behaviors reside, and change them to more productive modes to support us in our lives. Basically, you're consciously embodying the person you've always dreamed you could be, but walking as if your future self is imperative. If the placebo effect is a function of how a thought can change physiology, we could call it mind over matter. Then perhaps we should examine our thoughts and how they interact with our brains and our bodies. What do we know? Invited people to question the nature of reality, and then try it out in their lives, to see if their observation mattered, or perhaps, more accurately put, if their observation became matter. We should never wait for science to give us permission to do the uncommon. If we do, then we are turning science into another religion. If we have very strong beliefs about something, evidence to the contrary could be sitting right in front of us, but we may not see it, because what we perceive is entirely different. There is no limit to how high we can rise up to the highest divine potential of our being. Begin by resting your awareness on your heart. And once you are locked in on the space your heart occupies in space, become aware of your breathing. When those thoughts and feelings that used to signal the body are stopped by your conscious efforts, the liberated energy from those limited emotions is released into the field. Now you have energy with which to design and create a new destiny. The only thing I can assure you of is this: the unknown has never let me down. Thinking the same thoughts leads us to make the same choices. Making the same choices leads to demonstrating the same behaviors. You must become conscious of the unconscious behaviors you've been choosing to demonstrate that have led to the same experiences. And then you must make new choices, take new actions, and create new experiences. We may also train the body to be the mind in order to live in a predictable future, based on the memory of the known past, and thus we miss the precious now moment again. Your brain and body don't know the difference between having an actual experience in your life and just thinking about the experience. Neurochemically, it's the same. Learning is forming new connections in the brain, and memory is maintaining those connections. The key to all of this is learning how to stay cool in the midst of adversity. It's a matter of knowing yourself and having faith that you can handle whatever life throws at you. The more we live impacted by stress hormones, the more their chemical rush becomes our identity. Then feel the emotion ahead of the experience. The elevated emotion, which carries a higher energy. When your life is over, and you cannot rely on your external world to define you, you will be left with that feeling you never addressed. Be willing to be uncomfortable. Your past shortfalls can be traced at their root to one major oversight. You haven't committed yourself to living by the truth that your thoughts have consequences so great that they create your reality. If you string a series of attitudes together, you create a belief. When you are living in survival mode, under the burden of the hormones of stress, you draw from this invisible field of energy and turn it into chemistry. Be willing to experience the life you've dreamed of. It's right here, right now. You can't tell this unlimited grand essence how to go about anything. If you do, you are back to trying to do things your way. And naturally, it will stop helping you, so as to allow you your free will. When you realize that there is nothing in this world that can't change, you will begin to live with a sense of freedom and peace beyond measure. If you want to become someone else, you got to become aware of who you are. That means you got to think about what you've been thinking about. You've got to start paying attention to how you speak. You've got to be conscious, self-aware. If mind is the brain in action, or the brain turned on, then new neural networks are making new levels of mind. You have to feel so much gratitude that your body begins to change ahead of the actual event, and accept that the new ideal already is you. The quantum model, which states that all possibilities exist in this present moment, is your key to using the placebo effect for healing, because it gives you permission to choose a new future for yourself, and actually observe it into reality. Engaging in brain-healthy habits, such as a proper diet, and exercise, and certain brain nutrients, is critical to the brain working right. These emotional addictions cause us to become preoccupied by whatever we think might be causing the upset in our environment, whether it be someone or something, and as a result, the survival gene switches on. Now we're living in a self-fulfilling prophecy. The frontal lobe is responsible for the conscious, willful, purposeful, intentional choices and actions that we undertake countless times each day. It is the home of the true self. So whether you've been trying to effect positive change, to create a new state of being, or you've been running on autopilot and staying stuck in the same old state of being, the truth is that you've always been your own placebo. We think somewhere between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. 90% of those thoughts are exactly the same ones we had the day before. The doors of dimension open to me, so I may experience the mystical. My body is healing every day. My words are law. I feel loved deeply and daily. wealth flows to me. The best thing that ever happened to me is my second chance at life. From apples to black holes, the shape of a torus is a recurring pattern of creation in nature. True leadership has to do with a vision of the future. The secret of life is that there's no secret. It is the simple things in life that make us realize that there is someone or something else out there that is more powerful than we are. I know I am not my body. Could it be that many drugs, or even surgeries, actually work better, because we are repeatedly primed, educated, and conditioned to believe in their effects? When if it weren't for the placebo effect, those drugs might not work as well, or at all. Since the neuroscientific definition of mind is the brain in action, you repeatedly reproduce the same level of mind by reminding yourself who you think you are in reference to the outer world. The human body is its own best apothecary, and because the most successful prescriptions are filled by the body itself, our attention brings everything to life, and makes real what was previously unnoticed or unreal. The combination of your thoughts and feelings is your state of being. Change your state of being, and change your reality. After many years of resisting and even fighting against certain things in my life, I began to embrace the lessons by welcoming them into my life. You are continuously keeping your life the same, because you are keeping your attention, your thoughts, and your energy the same. It's not enough to just meditate on wholeness and oneness for this planet. It's going to require all of us to demonstrate it in all areas of our life. At the change we want to see in the world has to first start with ourselves. The Newtonian world is all about the predictable, about predicting the future. But the quantum model of reality is about causing an effect. Our life begins to change when we change our energy, and we begin to take our power back. The hormones of stress cause us to give all our attention to our outer world, because that's where the danger lurks. That which we are seeking is seeking us. Consider creating several mind movies, one for health and wellness, for example, and another for romance, relationships, and wealth. We are doing the work that we need to do in order to become who we were designed to be. Truly knowing yourself is an inner transformation that will help you to become who you were designed to be. We can never find the present moment because our brains and bodies are already living in a known future reality based on the past. Habit is when your body is the mind. 95% of who you are by the time you're 35 years old is a set of memorized behaviors, skills, emotional reactions, beliefs, perceptions, and attitudes. The hardest part about change is not making the same choices you made the day before. Technology is a great distraction and a powerful addiction. And we remember who we are, based primarily on what we know and the things we do. The more we let go of the past, the less we fear our future. We've in fact conditioned ourselves to believe all sorts of things that aren't necessarily true, and many of these things are having a negative impact on our health and happiness. Real happiness is a matter of choice. The way we think about any situation determines the outcome of our response to it. The more you believe in the cause, the better the effect. Science is the contemporary language of mysticism. Our intention is the most powerful thing we have in our reality. It is life's greatest power. When we can use the conscious mind together with the subconscious mind, we will be able to modify our hardware and upgrade our operating systems. Does the brain see, or do the eyes see? If the brain sees, then we can only perceive reality based on what we have wired into our brain. Through contemplation and self-reflection, we can become aware of our unconscious scripts. What you mentally rehearse and what you physically demonstrate is who you are on a neurological level. Knowledge is power, but knowledge about yourself is self-empowerment. If you become aware of your automatic habits, and you are conscious of your unconscious behaviors, so you cannot go unconscious again, then you are changing. The latest research in neuroscience says you can change your brain just by thinking. The truth is that we have all the answers within us. If your brain chemistry is right, your body will be totally and completely sedated. When you live with your whole heart, you have no reason to fear anything, because there is no reason to believe that anything can hurt you. A new mind creates a new brain. I do react in my life, but the question is, how long are you gonna react? Because if you keep that reaction going for an extended period of time, sooner or later, it will become your identity. The reason we are here is to aid in the evolution of all sentient beings, and to do so in a peace-loving manner. But it is imperative to realize that behind every addiction, there is some memorized emotion that is driving the behavior. We see our beliefs as truths, not ideas that we can change. Where we place our attention, and on what we place our attention, maps the very course of our state of being. When you activate the heart by calling up elevated emotions, you are not only broadcasting that energy to every cell, you are also radiating those feelings out into space. If you don't grab hold of something every day in your life, it will float away from you. It will float away, and you'll have to start all over again. Whatever happens is only temporary. It always changes, it always passes, and you can choose how you perceive it. Like everything else in the universe, we're in a sense connected to a sea of information, in a dimension beyond physical space and time. There is an infinite field of energy that exists beyond our present concept of space and time, which unites all of us. The things that were once so important to me really no longer mattered, and I started asking big questions, like who am I? What is the meaning of this life? What am I doing here? What or who is God? How did I do today? When did I fall from grace, and why? Who was it I reacted to, and where? When did I go unconscious? How can I do better the next time that happens? What we're conditioned to believe about ourselves, and what we're programmed to think other people think about us, affects our performance, including how successful we are. As my ability to observe my desired destiny got sharper and sharper, my cells began to reorganize themselves. I began to signal new genes in new ways, and then my body really started getting better faster. When you hold clear, focused thoughts about your purpose, accompanied by your passionate, emotional engagement, you broadcast a stronger electromagnetic signal that pulls you toward a potential reality that matches what you want. We can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or we can do so in a state of joy and inspiration. With every single thing that happens in our lives, we have the power to change our response. What's important is that you catch onto a vision and you learn how to create it. Whether we're addicted to cigarettes, chocolate, alcohol, shopping, gambling, or biting our nails, the moment we cease the habitual action, chaos rages between the body and the mind. Keep your mind clear. Master the next moment, and ultimately, you'll master yourself. Realized back then that when crisis or trauma occurs, we spend too much of our attention and energy thinking about what we don't want instead of what we do want. The stronger the emotional quotient from an event in your life, the more the experience leaves a lasting impression in your brain. By the way, just as we, as a subjective consciousness, are observing the electron into form, there's an objective, universal consciousness that is constantly observing all of us and our three-dimensional reality into order and form as well. As we've seen, the expression of proteins is the expression of life, and the expression of life is equal to the health of the body. Then a new level of structural and functional health and life will follow. A renewed mind and a renewed body must emerge. The universe is much more powerful than anything we can imagine. The subconscious is where reside all your bad habits and behaviors that you want to change. The only way we can achieve real peace and harmony in our lives is by learning how to live in harmony with our own thoughts and emotions. We are all on a journey of self-discovery that will help us understand how to live in harmony with all life on this planet. When you string a succession of thoughts and feelings together so that they ultimately become habituated or automatic, they form an attitude. Humans are the most powerful beings on this planet, but we can become less than our true self, and that is what causes us to lose our power. We are powerful beings, capable of creating anything our minds can imagine. The quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we are being. I've learned something very important in teaching this work. I've come to the realization that everyone secretly believes in his greatness. To truly change is to think greater than your environment. Here's my definition of intention. Getting clear on what you want. You can change your brain just by thinking differently. And as you have read, when you combine the electric charge, your intention, with the magnetic charge, elevated emotion, you create an electromagnetic signature that is equal to your state of being. For example, if you wake up and you think, "Where's my pain?" Your familiar pain soon appears because you expected it to be there. When you know that you know how to do something, you are on your way to mastering it. When you feel so whole that you no longer care whether it will happen, that's when amazing things materialize before your eyes. Nothing is ever good or bad, it just is. The meaning you give it is what creates the reality in your life. You must feel a new energy to become something greater than your body, your environment, and time, so that you have dominion over your body, your environment, and time. Become a thought that affects matter. In the early days of my career, I always wrote with skeptics in mind, trying to make sure they would approve of my work. Personal change takes an intentional act of will, and it usually means that something was making us uncomfortable enough to want to do things differently. To evolve is to overcome the conditions in our life by changing something about ourselves. by intentionally choosing to feel the elevated emotions of the heart, rather than waiting for something outside of yourself to elicit those emotions. You become who you are truly meant to be, a heart-empowered individual. You've become susceptible to your own auto-suggestions, and if your present knowledge is based on your own conclusions from past experiences, then without any new knowledge, you will always keep creating the outcome that's equal to your mind. Only when subjects held both heightened emotions and clear objectives in alignment were they able to produce the intended effect. If you were to take your attention of your life or get beyond the memory of your life should turn into possibility. Can you believe in a future that you can't see or experience with your senses yet, but you've thought about it enough times in your mind that your brain has literally changed to look like the experience has already occurred? You can change who you are, from brain cell to gene, given the right understanding. The universal intelligence that animates the existence of all things will both surprise and delight you. Emotions are the chemical consequences of past experiences. The best way to predict your future is to create it, not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and wire in your brain? Moves out of the thinking neocortex and into the midbrain, and there it connects with the autonomic nervous system, the body's subconscious operating system. The quantum field responds in a way that one couldn't predict. The moment you imagine a new future for yourself, think about a new possibility. When you believe in yourself, you believe in possibility. You can't have one without the other. This begs the question, how much of your creative energy is tied up in guilt, hatred, resentment, lack, or fear? The truth is that you could be using all that energy to recreate a new destiny. The positive moments of our lives can be used to create an amazing life. The negative can be used as a catalyst to get us on track to realize more of our full potential. The process of change requires unlearning first, then learning. If you can't get beyond your stresses, your problems, and your pain, you can't create a new future where those things don't exist. Like clay, the energy of infinite possibilities is shaped by consciousness, your mind. Can you be your own placebo? Instead of living by cause and effect, let's learn how to cause an effect. Our minds and bodies are connected through the cord of light, which can only be activated when we tune into the frequency of love. How can I think, feel, and behave differently to produce the effect, result, that I want? When you are in the sweet spot of the generous, present moment, your familiar past and your predictable future no longer exist, and now you are ready to create new possibilities in your life. When I call on Spirit, it responds. We are all faced with great opportunities, brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. There's always a door, and that's how we evolve. There's no such thing as a bad meditation. There's only overcoming yourself a little bit more. If feelings and emotions are a record of the past, and those feelings are driving your hardwired thoughts and behaviors, you'll keep repeating your past, and therefore become predictable. Most people's biology is for the most part their past. So if you are not being defined by a vision of the future, some new possibility in your life, you're only left with the old circuitry in your brain and the emotions of the past. By itself, conscious positive thinking cannot overcome subconscious negative feelings. The hardest part is to teach our body emotionally what the future will feel like ahead of the actual experience. You take your attention of your past present reality, or your predictable future reality. You are calling energy back to you, and building your own electromagnetic field. Now you have available energy to heal yourself, or to create a new experience in your life. All of the adversity in our life is to initiate us into greatness. It's to call out something greater in us. When you chose to prove to yourself how powerful you really are, you have no idea who you will be helping in the future. When something is true in life, that truth shows up in many ways. Ultimately, you will create transparency. When how you appear is who you are truly free. If we want to be a new person, or exhibit new behaviors, we shouldn't limit ourselves to what we have previously stored in our brain. Most people never know the real truth about anything until after they die. The familiar past will soon be the predictable future. My definition of creation is when I forget about myself, because that's when you're free. Combine a clear intention with an uncompromising trust in possibility, then you'll step into the unknown. And that's when the supernatural starts to unfold. I think that you and I are at our best when we're in this state of being. If we have good thoughts, we make chemicals that make us feel good. People who create amazing things in their life just were more in love with their future than their past, and they kept it alive in their mind every day. You can't think greater than you feel. Our feelings have become the means of thinking. By the very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past, and for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. My definition of genius is to be uncomfortable, and to be okay with being uncomfortable. An experience creates an emotional reaction, which then can turn into a mood, then into a temperament, and finally, into a personality trait. When you understand that change really requires becoming uncomfortable to a certain degree, and that's normal, you're leaving the known and step into the unknown. Visioning is rehearsing the future. We are connected to everything in the quantum field. Reality can be a bit of a moving target, literally. Over time, who knows, you might find yourself naturally walking like a happy person, behaving like a courageous and compassionate leader, thinking like a noble, empowered genius, feeling like a worthy, abundant entrepreneur. We are the only ones we have to please. No one can do anything for us but ourselves. Your life is a work of art, and you are the artist. There is no such thing as a failure. The only time we fail is when we give up. Now, when a new day dawns for us after the long night of darkness, and the phoenix rises, regenerated, from its ashes. We have invented a new self, and the physical, biological expression of the new self is literally becoming someone else. That is true metamorphosis.